Yes, it's really hard to stay positive when you feel like you keep being knocked down again and again. Not last weekend, but the one before, I was feeling totally disillusioned and disheartened, angry, lost, and quite depressed actually. After being woken at 6:30 a.m. on the Saturday morning by another float truck picking up heavy machinery outside our bedroom, followed by the same on Sunday morning dropping it back off again, my mind took me back to the 12 months of continuous daily noise outside our bedroom. I could feel the anxiety and shock in my body, confiding in my partner how I didn't really see the point of life and didn't want to play this game anymore. This latest action, or what we call retaliation by our neighbour, came after my partner emailed local council regarding the children's party held at the unapproved development site, fenced off with signs stating, "Site unsafe, no entry by anyone." Funnily enough, after reading his email, my immediate response was to tell him not to send it, knowing too well there'd be a consequence for us. We thought we were doing the right thing by reporting this, and I'm not sure why I'm always surprised when council takes no responsibility for their own negligence and allows this developer to get away with even more. This unfairness makes me so bloody angry. However, I'm the one who expects this from council and our bully neighbour time and time again. So if I create my own reality, how can the outcome be any different to my expectation? Last Monday morning, after doing a chakra clearing, I realised I hadn't been looking after my energy well at all and had fallen into a negative spiral. So I cleared my energy, listened to an inspirational speaker, and had a chat with a good mate who confirmed I should go back to ignoring the bully neighbour and my reality, as I've been doing so well up until now. My plates had actually told me this on Thursday, but I didn't understand them at the time. I am so late, ignoring hunters, those who stalk their prey, completely forgetting I am the engineer of my own reality. Then on Monday, as I began to feel better, this one no longer bears the weight of negativity, achieved by returning to my advanced thinking and a new dawn, a fresh start. I've also written myself a new affirmation to remind myself when I'm struggling next time to ignore the disturbance outside our home. I know if I keep my vibrational energy high, this won't happen to me. Or if it does, it won't affect me as much. The affirmation is also a reframing of my situation, as I'm giving the problem new meaning. It says what's happening across the road is to help me refine my ability to manifest what I want and to consolidate what I've learned, help others with this process as well. You see, the better I get at this, the better I can help others. Something else I found interesting of late is my partner's outlook on life. He was stuck on the train for 5 hours during an incident the week before, as opposed to his usual 1.5-hour commute home. Rather than be angry and upset by this, which is exactly how this fiery Leo would have responded to the situation, he was actually grateful that he'd caught the train home at 2:30 p.m. Otherwise, he said he might still be sitting on the platform waiting. The next night, he explained how train fares were free the following day. A nice gesture of apology by the state government. But since his early morning train had been cancelled, he had to wait half-hour for the next one and consequently was late to work. But again, he laughed this off. I need to follow his example of going with the flow of life better and to stop assigning meaning and punishment to things that go wrong for me from time to time. Where have I picked up this limiting belief from? As my girlfriend kindly pointed out to me, stand up to the neighbour by ignoring him. Stand up to him by not letting him get to you so that he loses interest. Bullies would love you, Rach, because you give them a reaction. I've never been aware of this perspective before, to stand up by ignoring. But I needed to hear this, and I'm so very grateful for sharing her universal wisdom with me. Here's the thing. I expect the neighbour will behave like a bully and for council to do nothing about it. So, of course, that's what I'm going to get. But it's not my job to stop, fix, or punish the neighbour. I need to leave it up to the universal law of cause and effect, knowing there's a direct relation between actions and events. Often, we don't see the effect straight away, or in terms of another person, possibly not ever at all. But the universe is lawful and orderly, so it will always come back around. From here on in, I'm going to expect our neighbour to behave decently and with consideration, since that's what I desire after all. As Abraham Hicks explains, every bit of disappointment we have and everything that goes wrong is really about not living up to the version of ourselves that we desire. Through life, we create a version of everything we want. If I want peace and quiet outside my home, I need to be thinking about and focusing on that. The weekend before, there were kids screaming on a jumping castle for hours during the middle of the day on a Sunday, which was fairly easy to avoid and ignore by simply going inside the house. However, the following weekend, we were woken in the early morning by truck engines idling and reversing beeps from heavy machinery right outside our bedroom, which was much louder and more difficult to drown out. By focusing on what I didn't want, I managed to manifest even more of it. Of course, we take a hit when things don't work out for us, don't we? But the only reason we feel bad is because there's a version of it that is offering a very powerful positive vibration. And when we don't resonate with it, we feel the discord, the negative emotions, the conflict within ourselves. It's the contrast that motivates our desires. When we know what we don't want, we know what we do want. And what everybody else is doing is none of our business. Keeping ourselves happy and vibrating high is our only business. And when I put an intention out into the universe, how will I know whether I'm succeeding if it doesn't test me? How can I put my skills to good use if there are no opportunities to practice it on? So, if something has knocked you down and you're finding it hard to stay positive, get past the shock of what's happened and into the solution of the problem, the solution of what you do want, plus the belief and expectation of it. And then leave it up to the universe to bring it to you. What are you thinking? This is the life you're manifesting, you know.